You spent some time in the Bay, so how was that experience?
Interesting, to say the least. Have you been to the Bay lately?
I have. Well, let's see. They lost the Raiders. They lost the A's. They say they lost Keith Lee. So right now the Bay
just lost the In-N-Out, the very first In-N-Out to ever close.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And a lot of that is attested to the crime. A lot of that is attested to the overpopulated drug use that's out there. A lot of places have drug use, right?
Correct.
A lot of places have crime. Think what separated the Bay was that they have in my opinion, indoctrinated into the culture. So when we first announced that we was going to the Bay, there were multiple news articles saying Keith Lee might get bipped. And bipping is where they take spark plugs or they take a device where they put it up to the window, they shatter it in a second, grab your stuff, and they out within 5 or 10 seconds with everything that was in the car. I've been to a bunch of places that was considered hood. We went to Chicago, and Chicago was one of the best places I've ever been to.
Hey Keith, we still got other In-N-Outs too. But and as far as like you said, in indoctrination, I don't think it's that. I don't think people was putting it on thick or like it was a badge of honor to bip your car. They probably was like, oh, this Keith shit, it was casual shit, but that just really what's going on.
And Chicago is the top of murder capital, or top 5, I would say. In the Bay, there was a different sense of like almost pride that some people were taking in it. Like, he gonna get robbed when he here.
Right.
People that come here, y'all better, if you ask anybody from the Bay, or I've seen interviews where they ask people from the Bay, what's the number one advice that you give to people? And the first thing they say has nothing to do with the food, it has nothing to do with the experience. It's take everything out your car the second you get here because you gonna get robbed.
Wow.
And they wasn't taking pride in it. It's just the reality of the situation. It's really like fake Gotham, especially the city. I don't know if y'all been in San Francisco. I'm gonna go out there and do a vlog for y'all this weekend. San Francisco is diabolical to say the least. So to say the least.
For me, I felt like that was more precedence than the food itself, because God forbid, somebody hopped on a plane after we review a spot to go try the food. They leave the airport and they get robbed. And they say, I got robbed trying the Keith Lee recommended spot. So I took that into consideration. People with these families, they have children. If a child was to get robbed or a child was injured in any sort of facet that had anything to do attached with me, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night because I take this very serious. So I was okay with people.
Niggas ain't just robbing families like that, Keith. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying, and yeah, I appreciate your consideration, bro. Because it is like you recommend somebody, you recommend a restaurant, somebody show up at the restaurant, get bipped. It's like, thanks a lot, Keith. You know?
From the Bay being mad at me for saying it, somebody had to say it.
Right.
We got sent to the Tenderloin in the Bay. The Tenderloin is Skid Row on steroids.
Wow.
The Tenderloin, when I tell you, it was people in the middle of the streets doing hard drugs, sitting crisscross applesauce with no care in the world. And it was kids walking around. It was people with families. And they literally was just out doing whatever they felt like doing. And it was a restaurant smack dab in the middle of that people told us that we had to go try.
Was people actually in the restaurant?
Yeah, people were just sitting there eating. And then you step outside and it's, when I say like burnt cars is...
He ain't lying though. See, that's exactly like what's going on in the Bay. It's affluence and wealth right in the middle of poverty and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the rich people, you might have to, on the way to, you know, go to your nice fancy dinner or wherever the case is, you might have to step over some human shit in the city. And it's wicked all over the Bay Area. Any city you go in, you could be in a store and you gonna see somebody probably pushing a basket of free shit out. For sure. Guaranteed you, bro. No exaggeration. It's really like that. And I heard it's like that everywhere, but you know, them other places, they be serious about crime and shit. See, and that's another thing. They be saying the establishment is in compliance with what's going on around this motherfucker. And how it's looking, you gotta agree.
Trailers, it's things that almost look inhuman. And again, there's other cities that go through these same struggles, right? I just refuse for anybody that went out there after us to be put in any harm's way without me acknowledging that.
Right. Well, they need to know what they were going to get themselves into.
Exactly. And I feel like if
the full experience, not just the food, but what you were probably might have to deal with in order to go sample the food.
And I feel like if I didn't say that, it would be irresponsible on my end.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't think that deep. They just was like, oh, he said the Bay food was bad. The Bay has some of the best Michelin star restaurants in the world. They have some of the most diverse food in the world when it comes to other ethnicities, other cultures, other backgrounds.
That's a fact. You gonna get whatever you gonna get, from lumpias to smash burgers to sushi to steakhouses to, you know, it's all type of food out. That's what I love about the section.
That I've never doubted for a second. It has some of the best fine dining and elevated dining, but the safety was what we was most concerned with, and the accessibility to being able to see that. Like, I didn't want my kids or anybody else's kids to be exposed to that just to go get a burger or some cat.
It's crazy, man. It's the sad reality of the situation, you know. I don't know what the, like I said, man, it's like the establishment is like, fuck it. I don't know what they fattening their pockets so much to the point to where they not, you know, really worried about. We in a crazy time where a lot of people don't be wanting to. It just, you know, we in a cold time, to say the least. That's really all I can say. And yeah, man, it's a trip though. But I am gonna go to Frisco and show y'all firsthand what it's looking like. Like, you wouldn't. I'm probably gonna blur the people's faces out and shit like that unless they want to come on the camera and holler. But when you see it, you ain't gonna believe it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna believe. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna believe it, bro. I done went down the street the other day. Right, I'm in the city. I'm down some of the. It's skid. What he say? He said skid row 3 times, 10 times. It is, bro. I'm talking. I was on one block. It was like 1,000 people out there. 1,000 homeless people in Knox and every. You know, like the 80s type. Like I wasn't even in the 80s, but how they say the 80s was. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas let me know what y'all think.
Say, ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need him now and not later, ho. Say, ho.